I just recently graduated the 8 Weeks to Wellness program, probably about a week ago. So Dr. Dane invited me here to tell you a little bit about my experience. And basically, the biggest thing is, why did I decide to do this program? And I thought a lot about that, and I've thought a lot about that for 8 weeks, because before I came here, it took me months to finally come here. I'd heard about this through other friends of mine, but I could never get my feet to walk in through the door. And but at that time, I actually came to a sort of a forked path in my life, and I had a choice. I had a choice to live the life that I was always living, or make a change in my life, to go forward and do something different. And the thing that really tipped the balance was that I was in a lot of pain. I had a lot of neck pain, I had a lot of back pain, and in my prior life and when I was younger, I was sort of an athlete. I played a lot of sports. I played tennis up until about 2 years ago when I had a knee issue. And for probably the last 2 years, I've been in physical therapy off and on for 2 years. I mean, intense physical therapy, trying to rehab myself back to getting into some sort of sports. And, but the neck thing was really, really critical, because I was in this vicious circle where I couldn't exercise because my neck hurt so much. So I had to go to physical therapy. I would get better, but it kept going back in this cycle. And over the course of 2 years, I picked up a lot of weight as well because I couldn't exercise. So another piece of this is that I'm also a caregiver. I take care of my parents, who are 88 and 93 years old, and I'm very blessed because I have good genes. But I look at my parents, who are very healthy, and you know, when you look at the medical records, they are great, but they're completely immobile. And because they're not active, they can't move that much, they're starting to have a lot of, well, onset dementia, and a little bit maybe of Alzheimer's. So all these things are sort of going through my mind. I can't move, I want to be active, I've gained a lot of weight. I look at my parents and say, yeah, I'm healthy, but I don't want to be them at 90 years old. I want to be moving around still. So I really didn't know how to change the course of my life. Now, the other thing that I know is that I'm what you could call a professional dieter. I've tried every single diet plan that's out there. Every single one I've done. And in every single one, I found that there was always a weakness in it. And so I knew I didn't want to go back to any of these other plans, because I knew that eventually, after my 3 months or 6 months on it, it wouldn't work. So I realized that I had to make a real change in my lifestyle. And that's a funny thing, because every diet program you go to, they'll tell you how it's important to change your lifestyle. But really, when you think about that, when you say that to a lot of people, they nod their heads, but they don't really understand the commitment to changing your lifestyle. So when I was talking to my friends, they were all like, you have to go to this place, because they have a very unique approach where they sort of envelop you in this whole program. And I was like, what are you talking about? So after being in I have to say the driving force was the pain. I could barely move, I couldn't sleep at night. One other factor is I never had a chiropractic adjustment ever. In fact, I was sort of averse, a little bit scared of having my back cracked, because my whole family, everyone around me, never has had that done. And the sound of cracking sort of like, I don't know. So when I first came here, I thought, I don't know, they're going to sell me adjustments. I don't want to be sold adjustments. But when I finally got here, because I couldn't move and I was in a lot of pain, I had my first consultation with Dr. Dane, and what I really, really enjoyed is he didn't focus on just chiropractic adjustments. He really talked about changing your life. And what I like and what I think is so different about this program is it's a multifaceted approach. It's not just concentrating on weight loss, which I knew if you just lose weight but you're not building muscle, you're just getting skinny fat. So you're really not becoming healthy, and in time you're still going to be immobile. And it isn't just about chiropractic adjustments, so because I was afraid of that, there's a whole piece with the meditation, which is handling your mind and stress, and I go through a pretty stressful life. And then also personal training. Now, I've also done a lot of personal training, but the problem with each one of them is if you don't have the other pieces, it falls apart because you're not building a sound house. So if you do personal training but you don't know about nutrition, then eventually you fail, because a lot of people will eat a lot of, I mean, they'll eat more food because they're training, but maybe not eat the correct foods. If you just go for nutrition and you're cutting down your caloric intake, but you're not working out, you're actually losing muscle mass. So there are all these things that I knew all the little pieces, because I do read a lot of books and I think about a lot of things, but no one could actually put all those pieces together in one spot. And what I really love about the program is, to me, in this world today, it's very, very busy, and you want sort of that one-stop shopping. You come in here and everything is provided. You don't have to think about it. For a person to walk in through the door, which is probably the hardest challenge that they have, it has to be easy for them. They have to be able to come in here and say, oh, I don't have to think about my nutrition because someone's got this plan for me and I can learn from that. Oh, I can sign up for my training sessions. So that, I think, is really key, because the other thing that I recognize is I'm 53 years old, and I have a lot of friends who are my age who used to be athletic, but there's a big shift in life when you hit your 50s, maybe even when you hit your late 40s, and that the things that used to be important to you aren't as important anymore. And so you start focusing on maybe the things that are really of value in your life, which is being happy, being mobile, being able to spend time with your family. And it's less about how beautiful you look and how thin you are. It's more about how healthy you feel. So as I've been moving along through my course of life, I realized that the change in life that I needed was I wanted to feel healthy. And part of being healthy was not focusing on my weight loss. Part of being healthy is to know that I could do regular movements and not feel like I was going to hurt my knees, throw my back out. And to me, that was kind of the most important things, because my injuries and my unhealthiness were limiting what I could do just in everyday life. So when I talked to Dr. Dane, what I really liked is that when we had our consultation, he said a few things that really rang true. And this is the other thing that I learned, is that when you do any program, you can't focus on perfection. If you are focusing on perfection, you will fail, because life is not about being perfect. So Dr. Dane said to me, we're not into perfection, we're just into you trying to do your best every day and doing a little bit better. So we set some goals, and what was nice is that, he said, even if you don't meet those goals, we're going to look back and notice that you've made changes. And I think that that's important. I see a lot of women, they go into these programs and they fall off of it because of the fact that maybe they go out to a party and they eat a lot, and then all of a sudden, their perfect record's gone, and they don't know how to get back on the path because there's this focus on being perfect, and they realize they can't be perfect. So for me, that rang true, because I know that I'm sort of a perfectionist, but that isn't what carries you through life. It doesn't extend into consistency in life. So I was looking for a program where I could do the best that I could, and I could understand what I had to do to bring out the best in that. So the things that the program taught me were, number one, nutrition. I think nutrition is very, very important as you get older. It's sort of less about fitness, because as you get older, you have to be a little bit more careful about what you're doing. You can't do the crazy things you did when you were young. So you have to sort of temper that with how your body feels. So nutrition is really important. And like I said, I've been on a lot of programs where there's prepackaged food. It's so easy. You go in there, you pick up your food, you go and you eat it, but you never learn how to eat for yourself. So that is a really big deal. I can't eat from a package every single day of my life. I'm going to go to a restaurant. I'm going to be at a party. I'm going to be at my kid's tennis match or something. And I have to be able to depend on myself to understand how to eat and what to eat. So I think the biggest change for me is understanding what types of things I needed to eat, that I had to get rid of the really bad carbohydrates, because I was a carbohydrate addict. The first week is where you do this whole detox of the carbohydrates, and of the bad carbohydrates. And that was sort of a hard week for me, but it really made me realize that I was addicted to carbohydrates. And I think that a lot of people don't realize how much their life and their happiness depends on eating that next piece of bread, that bowl of pasta. And until you have to give it up and you realize the effect and the impact on your body, you don't realize how addicted you are to it. So the first week was really important. It was a detox. The second week, my whole body went through this change because I remember talking to Dr. Dan saying, I'm so weak, I can't even go up the stairs. I go up the stairs and I have to collapse. And Dr. Dane explained this to me, and I do understand it. My body wasn't used to not having that quick burn from the carbohydrates, and it was going through a change, a metamorphosis. And I think in the first week I lost 8 pounds. I think a lot of that was water weight and who knows what. But the second week I sort of plateaued out. But after the second week, I started feeling stronger and better, and it was really like my body was going through a metamorphosis and changing and learning how to take in different types of nutrition that I hadn't fed my body before. So that was key to me because in all the other diet programs, I really didn't have a clue what I should be eating because it was prepackaged, or they don't make you think about what you're doing because it's done for you. And I think that to be successful on this program, you sort of have to make a commitment. You have to make a commitment to really following the program because it's for you. It's not for anyone else. It's for you to make a change in your life. So, nutrition was important. The adjustments really, really helped me because within the first 2 weeks, I didn't have this pain in my neck. I had like a lump on my neck, and I think it was because I never understood adjustments. I think my neck was out of alignment, and no amount of physical therapy was going to fix that because I'd already been through over a year for just my neck. So that was a big key because when my neck started moving and my back started feeling better, I could actually start training. And when I was starting to train, I could build endurance, mobility, stability, and then sort of build muscle, which I knew was important to continue to burn calories so I could lose weight. Now, my goals, I think in the 8 weeks of wellness, I think I lost 15 pounds. I just stepped on the weight on the scale. I know I lost another pound. And I was so sick this whole week, so I didn't do anything. I didn't do any exercise at all. But what I really know and the confidence that I have is that even though I was sick, I didn't exercise, I know that when I come in on Monday, I can just go back on and not feel like I've been bad and fallen off the wagon or anything like that. I feel like it's part of my life and that I have my whole life to live this way versus just doing it for a limited amount of time. I think that's the fallacy of a lot of people who go to diets is they think they're doing a change in life, but in reality, they are still focused on just a short-term fix of losing some weight. Here, it's everybody in this building who's part of this program supports you and reinforces the ideas that this is something that completely surrounds your life. And I think that's really important when you're making a change in life is you need that support. You need a sort of a refuge to come into where you come in and people are encouraging you and saying you look great and how are you doing? Are you doing this? And you need that because the rest of the world isn't thinking about that. And you're making a change and you need help in the beginning. Now, after 8 weeks, I've just signed up for some more weeks because although I lost 15 pounds in my mind because I want to be healthy and I want to go back to playing tennis, I really know that for me, I have to keep building muscle, eating well, and I have to lose a little bit more weight to take the weight off my knees. But right now, I think one of the biggest things that it's the small things, the small successes that mean a lot. I remember the biggest thing that made me happy when I was working out was I could never do a squat before because my knees would hurt so bad. And that was like a big thing is when I could do a squat or when I could actually do my stomach crunches. And they're these little things because those are actually a squat. And when you think about it, is so important because if you're doing anything around the house, you have to be able to bend down and pick things up without hurting your knees. So what I love about the training too is that it's not just about working out on machines, because I did a lot of that when I was in physical therapy. It's actually about doing things, free weights, so that I know that when I go home and I have to go and lift laundry, I can do that and not tip over. So everything I learned here is practical and something that I can use in real life. I don't know, that's my story. Are there any questions?
was awesome.
And I'll stand by you too because I know we're being recorded. But first of all, you guys kind of know why I picked the people to come speak to you, right? I don't. There was a lot that I learned, so I want to thank you for doing that. That I kind of knew theoretically,
Right.
But it's so great to see that what we've created. I mean, I was so proud listening to Ellen because everything she said is exactly why we created this program. You know, we are trying to create better human beings who can enjoy their life, and I agree with you. It's funny you say that.
I do want to say one thing.
Sure.
Out in the market, there's nothing like this program. There's nothing. Because every single thing is missing a piece. You have to have the complete, all the 5 facets here because of the fact that you're changing your life. And nobody else offers that. And that's why I think that any other program, you're eventually just going to fail and you're going to go back to gaining 20 pounds back and being unhealthy again.
Right.
So.
And it's like Yuki said, the 3-pronged attack. You know.
So even though I mean I understand the pieces together.
Yeah.
But is there one piece that you enjoy the most?
I'll tell you the 3 pieces. They're really 3 pieces. I've had personal training before, but I love personal training because to me that's time where I go in there and that's my zone. Like I'm not thinking about having to pick up my kids, taking care of my parents. I just go in there and work out. And to me, it's funny because Teresa's taught me about meditation, but I always laugh because when I'm in there, it's sort of like my meditation because I zone out in there. So I really love that. But I have to say, for me, like the adjustments, they've changed my life. And I have to say that it's funny because I never had one. I was afraid of it. But if I hadn't had it, I wouldn't be able to move my neck. And you have to move your neck to do anything in life. So I actually sort of enjoy them because I know when I need an adjustment and I'm like, oh, I don't feel right. And I brought my daughter in here because she's young, but she's come in here and we always have the same sensation. We get that, I don't know, we get adjusted and all of a sudden it feels like the weight of the world just got lifted from you. And it's indescribable. So I enjoy that for sort of a different reason. But I also know that if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be able to work out. And then the third thing I never had is I never had any massages before. And it's sort of a luxury, but that's why I really love the program because when you sign up for the program, I mean, most people won't invest in massage because it seems like such a luxury. But when you're working out really hard and you are trying to eat really well, that's like a reward for you. And it's a funny thing because you look forward to it, but also when you're working out and you're working out hard, your body is like so tight and it's so, I don't know, it's just all tight and you're building muscles. You need that. And I find that I really look forward to my massage too. So, I mean, I can't say that those are the 3 pieces that I love.
And you know, I was watching Ellen, and like I said, I'm really, really proud as she was talking to be a chiropractor and to be a part of something so awesome, you know, and that has such a deep impact on someone's life. But I also was looking at Ellen, and Ellen and I have a really good relationship, and I was looking and thinking about her initial pictures and recognizing that she came into this office an old woman, and I don't mean that with any disrespect, an older woman. And I was watching her and how beautiful she's become. And she's beautiful on the inside. She's the same person that walked in 9 weeks ago. I know that for a fact. But she's become beautiful on the outside in the way that she moves and how fluid she's become. And I know what an impact, and I know how her family's very important to her. And it's interesting that she says, because I think we all go through that we do stop focusing on the aesthetics, you know, of our life and how we look, and especially in America, we're so fixated on how we look, and you know that's where the cosmetics and cosmetic surgery, and yet you've become beautiful from the inside out instead of from the outside in, and that's a really, really wonderful thing. So I just want to thank you for taking the time.
You're welcome.
Guys, if you don't mind,
Thank you.